Aging well is my favorite subject, and so is skin health. At 67, I try to be aware of which foods best nourish our aging skin. So in this video, we will share the recipes, the meals that we prepare for breakfast, snack, and main meals every day. We think they're good for our skin, and we think they're easy and delicious. With that, let's get started. Fundamentally, I believe it's not what you eat from time to time that matters. What matters is what you eat on a regular basis. That's what I'll be sharing with you today. Now, it goes without saying, I am not a chef. Ina Garten is my hero. It would be such a stretch to call these recipes. They're rather the prep steps I do day to day. I'm going to assume you're my friend, you're my family, and you ate something that you kind of liked and you wanted to know how I put it together. That's the tone that I'll be sharing with you today. It's just friend to friend. I'm going to start with breakfast. I love breakfast. I love waking up. I have my water, I have my moments out in the sunshine. I come inside and I have a beautiful, healthy breakfast. And as a summer girl who loves healthy fruit in the morning, I can tell you, for me, there's no better season to have beautiful, fresh fruit in full fat yogurt. I never buy low fat. I find it has too much added sugar. I never buy anything that's sweetened with a flavor. So I'm looking at buying plain full fat yogurt. I don't want their fruit in it, and I don't want fruit in the bottom. That just adds sugar and sweetness and, as far as I'm concerned, empty calories. Yogurt is protein. And protein gives our skin much needed amino acids for repair and collagen production. What better way to start the day? It's protein, it's probiotics, and it tastes delicious. We are spoiled for choice in the summer when it comes to summer fruits. These would be the four that I'd say are on my top of mind. Strawberries are so high in vitamin C, and that helps our body continually make collagen to protect our skin. Number two, of course, is blueberries. Now, blueberries have that magical blue color, and it's called anthocyanin. Blue, there aren't many blue fruits, but blueberries are special, and blueberries are especially healthy. They're the easiest thing to get in a frozen state. They often have frozen wild blueberries in the off season, and I find they're a wonderful substitute. The beautiful fresh blueberries we can find now in season. Third is watermelon. Watermelon, you can't have summer without watermelon as far as I'm concerned. And watermelon isn't just beautiful, it also is excellent for hydration. And because it contains lycopene, it helps protect our skin from sun-related oxidative stress as well. One of my favorite things to make is a watermelon salad that has a bit of feta cheese, a little bit of really thinly sliced red onions, and a little bit of mint. And I toss that with a light olive oil and raspberry vinegar dressing. It's delicious and healthy and so beautiful on the plate. And finally, last but not least, is the kiwi. To add that little bit of pop of a yellow green to your fruit salad, I love that. And as you may know, kiwi is actually one of the very richest fruits when it comes to being a source of vitamin C. A little sprinkle of nuts and seeds add healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support the skin. Now, it's really important that they be not roasted, not salted, as plain as you can manage to give me that beautiful combination of fat, fiber, protein, and hydration. Now, despite how much I love yogurt and fruit and nuts, there are days that I really want a piece of toast. Now, toast all on its own has a glycemic impact that isn't wonderful. So what that means is that we'll experience a blood sugar spike. But in order to offset that, putting cottage cheese on top of a piece of toast lowers that glycemic impact. Cottage cheese, like yogurt, is high in protein, and those rich proteins are what we need to build and repair the skin tissue and support the collagen production. If that is too dull for you, just plain cottage cheese on toast, maybe I would add a little bit of other things. So a little bit of arugula, a little bit of dill, maybe a slice or two of avocado, maybe even some smoked salmon, particularly if I'm having a bit of a long morning. I want to make sure I have super amount of protein to keep me full throughout the morning. It's probably a breakfast I do a little less often than the fruit, but whenever I'm in the mood for toast, this is my go-to breakfast. Eggs help repair skin tissue. Vitamin A supports skin cell growth and turnover. Eggs are extraordinarily good for not just our skin, but everything our body craves. Eggs actually contain all 9 essential amino acids, making them a complete protein. The way that we tend to have eggs tends to be one of 3 ways. Firstly, poached eggs on toast with avocado is a real favorite of ours. We also love scrambled eggs with some smoked salmon, some fresh dill. I find that the freshness that adds to the eggs is just perfect. And the third way we can add eggs to our meals is if I'm making a big salad and I want to add a little bit more protein. People that don't like the feeling of a hard-boiled egg in their mouth. So instead what I'll do, I'll show you an image, is I'll take a hard-boiled egg and I will, with a fork, create a crumbly mixture of egg white and egg yellow that's very easy to sprinkle, really, on top of the salad as a way to add just a little more powerful protein and amino acids we get from the value of the beautiful egg. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please give it a like. And if you're interested in more videos on the subject of aging well, do subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you. If by any chance you notice a hype button is available to you, if you touch that for us and give us a hype, we're not actually sure what it does, but we're told it's really good for the channel. Thanks so much for your kind consideration. I guess I'm going to begin by talking about the snacks that I really don't include in how I look after my skin to try to keep it as healthy as possible. I am not a fan of protein bars. Now, I know there are good protein bars out there, but I feel as though you have to be super careful when reading the ingredients. You want, 10 to 20 grams of protein and 3 grams of fiber, and you really don't want added sugar. My concern is that a protein bar is really a candy bar with a little bit of protein added. Microwave popcorn is another thing that I think is, people think because it's popcorn, it's healthy, but unfortunately, the oils that are used are very high in saturated fat. and it has high levels of salt in microwave popcorn. If you're going to have popcorn, you're much better off making it in an air popper and then putting a little olive oil and a wee bit of salt on top. That's a much healthier snack. For me, what is the best, healthiest delivery mechanism to have a snack is a brown rice cake. And I'll just show you some examples of how I load them up with protein. So what I do is pair them with great protein and healthy fats that are directly linked to healthy skin. I think of the recipe of rice cake plus protein, and that's the snack that I look to create. And I'm gonna share with you some of my favorites. Probably depends on the day, what I do, but certainly a brown rice cake with cottage cheese and blueberries on top is an absolute standout favorite. Another would be avocado. And if I had a leftover half of a hard-boiled egg in the fridge, I would slice that and put that on top as well. The other thing that's super fast is almond butter. So a cake with almond butter, and then because the almond butter dries your mouth, I tend to slice some fruit, and I think kiwi is a great combination with peanut butter. It's also a pretty color combination. Another obvious one is a rice cake with cottage cheese and smoked salmon on top. That's a beautiful double whammy of protein. And finally, hummus. And I really am a proponent that rice cakes are the healthiest delivery mechanism for a protein snack anytime you need it throughout the day. Salmon is something that we will have once, maybe twice a week. I love salmon because I feel there are so many easy ways to make it. And of course, part of the reason is because it's so remarkably nutritious. Those omega-3 fatty acids that help reduce the dryness in our skin and support the skin's natural barrier. It also helps produce collagen. So I am a huge salmon proponent, and I think it's delicious. I cut up the salmon in small cubes after I've skinned it. I put a little bit of harissa, a little bit of salt and pepper. I then turn the cubes over, do another little go of harissa, salt and pepper. And then I put 5 or 6 on a wooden skewer that I would have soaked in water for about 10 minutes before using it. If you soak the skewers in water, they're less likely to catch fire when you're putting them on the grill. We find this a delicious way of serving salmon, and we enjoy the flavor of harissa, which is spicy, but I would say it's a mild version of spicy. It's not hot. My husband is more sensitive than I am to hot spices, and he finds it's quite delicious. We'll also use the same recipe of harissa, salt, and pepper on shrimp, and we'll also do it on chicken breasts. Another way we would commonly prepare salmon, again to be grilled, would be that we would cut it up in the cubes and I would marinate it in a combination of olive oil, lemon juice, and fresh dill. If you're not a dill fan, you could always also use fresh or dry oregano. That's a lovely combination with the salmon as well. Another favorite healthful meal we often create in the summertime is a quinoa salad, and then we would add protein to that salad after it's prepared. We may well add shrimp, we may well add chicken breasts. You could actually even add slices of thinly sliced sirloin steak if you wanted to this quinoa salad. The important element is the quinoa. Are you familiar with quinoa? It's a complete protein. Unlike most plant foods, it actually contains all 9 essential amino acids. So I prepare the quinoa. I then add whatever ingredients I feel like adding to make it an interesting salad. But commonly I will add red pepper that I've diced. I will add celery diced, red onion, cucumber, parsley, feta cheese. You could also add nuts. You could add pine nuts or walnuts for additional protein and additional crunch. And then I'd season it with a simple vinaigrette. We love a quinoa salad plus protein. It's a delicious, satisfying, filling summer meal. We love olive oil. I basically only use butter when I'm baking something beautiful and homemade, and that's for a special event. But day to day, we don't use any butter at all. Instead, we use olive oil on everything. Olive oil helps protect our skin's natural barrier. It helps us retain moisture, and it protects us from the environmental stress. Now, we all know vegetables are healthy, but I want to share with you the 3 vegetables that I always keep top of mind because I think they're particularly wonderful for our skin. And those are mushrooms, spinach or kale, and carrots. And we think we've found really fun, delicious ways to prepare these 3 vegetables so that we easily and readily include them in our diet all the time. So I'm going to begin with mushrooms. Mushrooms are an often neglected vegetable, I find. They're very high in fiber, great B vitamins, antioxidants, and selenium for skin repair. They are anti-inflammatory, they're good for gut health, low in calorie. One of my favorite ways to prepare mushrooms is to stir fry them in just a little bit of olive oil and then brown them for 5 or 7 minutes in some olive oil. Maybe I add some minced garlic and cook them a little 2 more minutes. I want to get them nice and brown. I will then brighten them with a little bit of lemon juice or balsamic vinegar. And then I'll toss in some fresh herbs, maybe some parsley or some thyme or some basil, whatever you have on hand. And then I will add those warm mushrooms into a cold leafy green salad. It is delicious to combine the warm of the mushroom with the cold of the lettuce leaves, I find. Next is spinach or kale. We know that they're very high in vitamin A, C, and E, and they have antioxidants that protect our skin cells. My favorite way to prepare kale is to make kale chips. Have you heard of this? I usually buy the big kale chips and I brush them with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. I then bake them in the oven. And before they're finished, I will sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese on and pop them back in the oven. They are yummy, delicious. The 3rd vegetable is carrots. Carrots are rich in vitamin A, and again, they support the skin repair and cell turnover. We love to roast them. We peel them, cut them into long strips, add some olive oil, salt and pepper, and maybe some cumin, some paprika, some garlic powder, and roast them for 20 or 30 minutes. And then when they come out, add some fresh herbs. Delicious, and not your ordinary carrot. So I hope you'll find one of these, maybe a new twist on how to make really wholesome vegetables even more delicious. We try to drink water as much as we possibly can. And I believe I mentioned in an earlier video that I recently suffered from a kidney stone. And as a result of that, I learned that especially as we get older, by the time we feel thirsty, we're already dehydrated. It is so important for our body's general health and our skin specifically to make sure that we are drinking enough water. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate the time that you give me. Get up, get dressed, be happy. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye. They are easy and we think delicious. Let's get started.